One, two, three. Yan! Tingin tayo dyan. Kung kunyari may choreography. Kamusta kayo dyan? Alam ko na-miss niyo ako eh. Alam ko na-miss niyo ako. May iba parang demanding na yata yung iba. Sabi na, nasaan ka na? Hinintay ka namin. Walang ya. Nakakontrata na ba tayo? Nagkataon lang na medyo mas maaga tayo mga kameta. Kamusta dyan? Mga ka-Isko, ka-Camping, mga ka-Pacman, ka-Antman. Actually, to be honest, kanina hindi ako nakatulog. Paggising ko, may kagat tayo ng langgam. Naku po, na-Antman na tayo tuloy. Na-disrupt yung tulog natin. Alam nyo naman, pag na-follow niyo ako kagabi, ang kulit ko, di ba? Kasi sabaw na ako eh. Ang haba ng araw ko kahapon, 18 hours of work. Early morning parang work, tapos meta tayo ng isang oras, dami natin daldal, tapos update here, dyan, article, columns, tapos consultation sa mga estudyante, ilang oras, and then trabaho ulit. And then nag-calisthenics pa akong yung mga other moves natin, yung mga burpees, burpees ng gabi para hindi na tayo zaddy bod, no? Zad bod. Walang hiya, sabi ng isa, sir, di ka zaddy, zad bod ka. Ibang klase. Sabi, iba-block ko na yan, ha? Bawal ang mga zaddy comments, di pa tayo matanda. Medyo matanda tayong millennial, pero hindi tayo matanda. Kaya wag naman sana yung mga zaddy. Pwede naman yung iba, pwede naman medyo cute, pwede naman ganun. Tuloy sa zaddy, cute, gwapo mga ganun. Yan, tuloy. Kinagat tayo ng antmano. Sakit dito. Dito kaya takban natin. Cute pa rin naman tayo. Sana. Yan, kamusta naman kayo dyan? Marami tayong pag-usapan, but to be honest, yun nga, inisip ko, ano pa bang pag-usapan natin? Sabi nga nila, di ba? Tapos ng laban. Sabi nga ni Tony Talks. Tapos na, may nanalo na, di ba? Na babalik na sila sa kanilang tahanan. Buckingham Palace, Philippine Royalty. Yan, Bourbons of the Philippines. Ayan tayo. Kaya, tapos nagalit yung iba dyan na bakit si Darian pinost lang dun sa part na quote ni Senator Marcos na hindi daw, it's not the full context. Ay, biglang may ganun na sila pagdating kay Leni at ibang candidates. Ang lakas nyo mag-splice. Yung ginawa nyo rin, naku po. Tapos biglang pagsaka, hindi, tignan natin yung context. Kaya nga tayo nag-post ng context. Speaking of context, makanong na-retrieve ng PCGG? Hundreds of billions of pesos, no? Billions of dollars ang pinag-usapan natin dyan. Of course, facts. What's that? Who cares about facts, diba? Wala namang pakintao sa facts, eh. Basta, Chalano, Alamano, mga ganon. Yan ang gusto ng tao talaga nowadays. Who cares about merit? Who cares about skills? Who cares about expertise? I-vlogger na yan. Talagang ganon. Speaking of splice video, among others, of course, nakita natin na lumalabas yung mga videos galing dun sa insidente and prior to the incident dyan sa, of course, hometown natin sa Baguio. Our good mayor, of course, hindi ako nag-endorse ng anyone for these elections. Let's be very, very clear. Don't make an issue out of my wardrobe or something like that. Okay, my wardrobe is fine. It has all colors there. Huwag kayong mag-feeling dyan. Okay, in fairness, si Mayor Benji Magalong, disclosure, beshi sila lola, friends sila niyan nila Mayor Magalong, pero in a very professional way. Okay, alright. So medyo kilala naman namin si Mayor Benji. Yan, si Sir Benji po ay nag-release ng statement kahapon. Sabi niya, Baguio folks, makinig kayo. Pasaway. Regardless of ethnic roots, kasi trending pa yung igorot. Nga mabaling nga kasta niya are generally friendly, ever smiling, and hospitable to visitors and guests. Totoo po yan. Yes, medyo mayabang naman talaga kami ng taga Baguio. Siyempre, Highlander people, highly educated. Pinost ko kahapon yung Human Development Index. Ayaw maniwala sa akin na talagang Baguio and that area is actually the most developed part of the country. Yan. Ito. Tingnan nyo. Ito, nakita nyo to? Ito, Human Development Index. Tignan nyo yung pinaka-green na pinakamataas. Ayan, Benguet yan. Pinakamataas ng Human Development Index namin dyan. Yeah, represent. Ka-level po namin, Croatia. Ka-level po namin yung mga member ng European Union. Hindi naman yung mga super mayaman. Pero some of the members of European Union, ka-level namin. Pagdating sa Human Development Index. So, ang tinitignan ito, hindi lang per capita income, tinitignan ito ng life expectancy, tinitignan ito ng yung education. Of course, may mga more comprehensive, revised versions ng Human Development Index, HDI. Nakasama din dyan yung healthcare, gender equity, infant mortality, yung mga ganun. So, talagang, I can objectively say na kami, yan, mga taga-Baguio, you see that? Hindi yung sa North, ha? Ewan ko dyan sa North na yan. Ewan ko dyan sa mga North na yan. Pero kami, ha, taga Baguio, hindi ko na, sugat to, hindi yan may sugat yung nail ko. Ito, pinaka-green, no? Tingnan nyo to. Yung pinaka-green na yan. Yan. Baguio, Benguet yan. Most developed part of the country pagdating sa Human Development Index. Yung mga ano dyan, yung mga iba dyan, Ilocos, tignan nyo, hindi naman ganun ka-green. Okay. Okay. Ayaw ka na magsalita. Medyo siguro ka-level lang namin, mga BGC. Ganun. Yan, Makati. Sasabihin na naman, elitista to. Hindi naman. Probinsyano nga tayo eh. Probinsyano boy tayo. Proud probinsyano ako dito ha. Kaya pag nandun ako, kausap ko yung mga ibang probinsyano, of course, meron kaming solidarity. Hindi kami mga sosyal katulad ng kayo mga Manila people. Yan, Manila people. So yan, balikan natin si Mayor Magalong ha. Siyempre, nag-flex tayo ng konti. Kasi siyempre proud ako sa Baguio eh. Wala kaming masyadong agwat in terms of income inequality, very egalitarian in culture namin. Sorry talaga, whether mayaman yung barkada namin or hindi ganun kayaman, kasama kami parati, hindi katulad dito, gated communities, may mga social, wala kaming ganun. Pare, yung basketball, go! Kahit di ko pinakamayaman sa Baguio, wala kaming pake. Lahat naman taga-boys tayo or ano eh. Diba? Pati si Robin P. Yes. Si Senator. Yan na natin yan. Si Senator Robin P. Mamaya ka na, Andrea. Mamaya na kita ipasok. Wala na. Ayan na. Windang pa tayo eh. Nasira yung tulog ko sa mga langgam na kumagat. Walang hiya. So, ayan. This is why it is with deep regret that the city officialdom extends sincere apologies to Miss Jillian Robredo, daughter of our esteemed, I won't add, duly elected Vice President and presidential candidate Leni Robredo over the unfortunate heckling incident at our public market while visiting the place. So yung mga iba dyan na nagvi-victim blaming, na sinasabi, kasi si Jillian, sabi niya, I'll educate yung mga ganun. Walang karapatan na sumigaw-sigaw at mangbastos ng ganyan. Anyamet, nga mabaling na kasta. You are giving a bad, Baguio style na ako mag-English. You are giving a bad image to our city. Okay? Nga mabaling na kasta. Anyamet. So yun, na-clarify ni Mayor yan. To the Vice President's daughter and to other visiting candidates and their supporters, do accept our heartfelt regrets over this incident. We treat everyone with utmost fairness, with nothing but the very best experience our visitors can have while in our midst. Maraming salamat, Mayor Benji, for that clarification. At yung mga iba dyan sa mga Twitter warriors, mga online warriors, yung mga splicers, mga trollsers, yan, umayos kayo. Nag-reply na yung natin dyan. Si Sir Benji. Yun eh. Yan. So, okay tapos na yan Huwag na kayo magsalita na. Basta kami mga taga Baguio. Ayan. Mayabang kami. Ayan, ulitin ko pinakamataas Human Development Index. Number 1. Numero 1. Nasaan yung Ilocos Norte? Out of 11 dito, number 6. Not bad. Considering all the benefits they got back in the day. Okay. Ayan. Basta kami, andyan kami. High level. Hindi sa yaman, pero sa edukasyon, sa, alam niya na yan, sa mga pagmamahal, sa kalikasan, yan. Kaya proud talaga ako dyan sa Baguio people. Yun. Yan. Okay. In fairness naman kay Leni Robredo, mamaya tayo dun sa mga drama kasi pag-usapan ko pa si Senator Zubiri, pag-usapan pa natin si Mr. Banayo and Isko. And then, pag-usapan natin later yung runoff elections na kasi talagang kailangan yan. Medyo may debate kami dito. Pag-usapan ko ito. Okay, balikan natin. Saan tayo? Ayan, kay Leni. In fairness naman kay duly elected Vice President Leni Robredo, she took the moral high ground at na-clarify niya na na-clarify niya na hindi naman kailangan na mag-apologize ang Baguio kasi naintindihan naman nila this was an isolated incident. And let me correct myself, mukhang hindi manang, mukhang lalaki po o whatever yung nagwala. Ayoko na magsalita. Mukhang hindi po isang manang ang Okay. So, I stand corrected. May nag-message sa atin ng mga kababayan natin dyan sa Baguio. Alright? Ayan. So, ito po yung sinabi ni Ma'am Leni Robredo, duly elected Vice President Leni Robredo. Nagkakataon na actually nagpo-follow siya sa akin sa Twitter. Alright, okay. I have to double check lang, I'm just checking. She just follows me naman. I mean, marami naman nagpo-follow sa atin eh. Ayan, ito sinabi ni Ma'am Lenia. Thank you very much, Mayor Benji. But there's no need to apologize. This unfortunate incident does not diminish our love and respect for the people of Baguio. Represent! Ayan, pasok, Andrew E. Pasok natin si Andrew. Ayan, sira na yung transition natin. Ayan. Yan! Maganda yan! Magandang clarification yan kay Mayor Benji. Yan, okay. Meron na tayong transitions. Pasok, Andrew E. Labas. Okay. So, meron din tayong, biglang umakyat ng viewers natin. Walang yan yata ang gusto ng tao eh. Mga ka-love radio dyan. Ayan. Meron din naman in fairness, Vice President Leni Robredo also took the high ground vis-a-vis also yung ating mga kaibigan dyan sa Cebu. I think yung isang tumatakbong official si Mr. Durano, no? So mukhang may, I think Vice President Leni Robredo clarified that, if she wins, she's gonna continue the development policy agenda of kahit yung mga hindi nag-endorse sa kanya. No? Ito So kay galing yan sa news. So kay presidential candidate and duly elected Vice President Leni Robredo, wala siyang grudges or anuman na bahit na masamang loob. Tama, di ba? Sama ng loob. Masamang loob. Ayan na tayo. Na Tito Boy Soto naman. Pasensya niyo na, Ilocano eh. Wala siyang sama ng masamang loob. Ayan tayo. Hindi kasi meron kami ng lola ko eh. Pag bullying lola ka, masama kang tao. Nagaganon kaming bullian. Tuloy kayo sa sama ng loob, sinabi ko masamang loob. Ayan, pasensya niya na ako Sorry na. Ito. Sabi ni Leni wala siyang grudges kay Cebu Gubernatorial Bet Ace Durano. So siguro mga Durano ito ay related din sa mga Duterte, no? Even if he didn't endorse her, she still believes dun sa Cebu Priority Development Agenda na ina-advocate nila Durano at running mate niya si Vice Governor Hilario Davide III, no? So ito yung statement niya, no? Lagi kong sinasabi, ang pakikihanay sa politika dapat ayon sa prinsipyo at sa plano para sa Pilipino, hindi sa transaksyon. Buo ang paniniwala ko sa Cebu Development Agenda ni Ace Durano at Junjun Davide, kaya may kapalit man o wala, buo rin ang suporta ko sa sino mang magsusulong ng planong ito. So in short, mauna ang development priorities at interest ng people of the Philippines, of Cebu, kaysa kung sinong nag-scratch ng my back and I will scratch your back later on after the election kind of mindset. Okay, so hindi po transactionalist ang approach ni Vice President Leni Robredo. So in fairness naman, nakita din natin ha, medyo, ito, alam ko yung mga sinasabi ng mga kaano natin dyan, at mano, sabi niya, marami pumupunta dyan sa mga concerts, ng mga rallies ni Leni, marami artista. Pero, actually, just recently, nakikita natin talaga yung mga ace level, no? However you wanna classify it. Vice ganda level ay dumadalo na doon sa mga rallies niya. So, nakita natin si Ma'am Vice Ganda. Ayan, no? Blonde na blonde. Ayan, no? Ayan. Ayan, Ayan, ito yung, kung may Andrew E ang kabila, meron naman tayong Vice Ganda doon sa kabila. Yon. So, medyo may laban. Yan, blonde pa, blonde. Yan, blonde beauty, Marilyn Monroe style. So, dumalo din siya dun sa Malolos City, Bulacan. Of course, may Malolos to eh. Medyo may revolutionary, historical, din to, aura tong area na to. So, talagang malakas ang dating. Kaya kita natin, Bulacan is pink also ng trend. Mukhang marami rin dumalo dyan. May laban yung mga ibang areas. Siyempre, build up yan ng momentum. So, in fairness, nakita natin kay Vice President Leni Robredo, duly elected Vice President Leni Robredo. She's taking the high ground, which brings us to the next issue. Mukhang may nag-withdraw na talaga. Ito na nangyari ng withdraw. Parang medyo late in the game. Si Congressman Mark Oleta ba yan? Hindi ko alam anong talagang reason. Is it because, it's just whatever, or is it because of some party issues? I don't know. I have to double check, so hindi ako magmaritas dito unless I have significant degree of certitude, or let's just say reasonable certainty. Mahalaga ito, mga ka-interregnum, mga median voters. Yan. So, balikan natin itong si Mr. Zubiri, kasi nga, sabi ni okay. So, ito yung sinabi ni Leni. Okay lang sa kanya na yung slate nila ay 11 na. Hindi na buong-buo na 12. Bahala na ang tao na pumili kung sino maging number 12. So, ito
Actually, hindi na ako kabahagi nung pag-decision.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, hindi na ako kabahagi nung pag-desisyon. Yung tinatanong ako about it, yung sabi ko sa kanila, kung paano natin dinesisyonan yung 12, ganon din yung pagdesisyon kung aalisin ba sa listahan, magdadagdag pa ng bago. Yung team na yung magde-decide. Yung sa akin, kung ano yung desisyon ng team, will abide by it. Pero ako kasi, yung focus ko na talaga itong kampanya kasi 12 days na lang. So kung ano yung, marami naman yung nag-uusap-usap, iba-ibang partido yung nandun. So kung ano yung mapagdesisyonan, will honor.
Mga pinagpipilian na ba, ma'am? Like, Jericho Benares, malakas din yung manawagan.
Actually, maraming mga nagpupush ng iba-ibang pangalan. Yung kahapon na update sa akin, parang ang desisyon, hindi nalalagyan ng kapalit. We'll let the voters decide kung sino yung idadagdag nilang kapalit. Kasi marami yata yung nakapila na pagpipilian. Ang problema kasi natin ngayon, oras eh. Talagang wala ng oras. So, ako basta sa akin, ang pakiusap ko na lang sa kanila, kayo na magdesisyon, basta ako, all my waking hours, nasa kampanya na ako.
Okay, thank you very much.
Salamat. Thank you.
Yan. Ganun, mga low-tech style tayo, Wala na yung mga screen transition, ganun. Mamaya ka na papasok, Andrew E. Wait lang. Oo. Siguro minsan medyo kailangan more fire, no? I know very tired si Ma'am Leni, but minsan medyo kailangan more fire, Okay. Alam natin, of course, yung background story nito kasi si Senator Mig Zubir, who actually is doing pretty well in the surveys and all, parang tinawag niya na my president. Talagang my president. Talagang yung mga my president talaga. Yan ang mga favorite terminologies ng mga alam na this. So, medyo that's been lingering for a while, but mukhang official na decision talaga ng campaign team ni Leni na to essentially bye-bye Zubiri. But of course, it doesn't seem to bother Zubiri. He's doing well in the surveys and mukhang nagtaya na siya dun sa kabila. Which says a lot about our country, no? About our politics. Na ito ka, nasa opposition ka, and then biglang mataas yung survey ng kabila, biglang lipat ka doon. I don't know. I mean, ito talagang sistema talaga natin. And I will get back to this very shortly. Ay, hindi. Sige, i-discuss ko na to kasi gusto ko i-relate ito sa issue ng runoff election, no? Kasi nga, di ba, at related din ito kay Isko, okay? Ito. Okay, I remember very well kasi, this is October, right? Yeah, this is October. Kasi November pa yung drama nila Sarah na replacement, wala rin pala. Yan. Visual lang pala. Okay. So the attack on Isko was, hindi siya tunay na opposition, Duterte light siya, whatever. Okay. When clearly, you could see that Duterte wanted to win from the center. Right? Pinag-usapan natin, bakit nga center? Kasi nga, andyan yung karamihan talaga ng voters, to be honest. Right? As simple as that. So it was a strategic calculation. Right? Now, of course, we can talk about prinsipyo, conviction, etc. But from a strategic standpoint, it makes sense to go for the median voter, and that yung pinakita ko na, yung pinakita ko sa inyo, di ba? So, yun, naalala niyo yun, di ba? So, the attack on Isko was that hindi naman siya talagang tunay na opposition. So, wala. Talagang siya, secret candidate siya ni Presidente, secret candidate siya ni Bongbong Marcos, and dami mga different versions, and then yung niya, mamaya ka na, ang gulo na tong Elon Musk, naggugulo naman sa Twitter, nakaka-distract. Alam mo, hindi ko, i-unfollow ko na to si Elon Musk. Ang epal ng taong yan. Parang bata na, ang epal niya. Ngayon sabi niya, bilhin niya yung Coke para, ibalik niya yung Coke sa Coca-Cola. This guy, napaka-dorky naman tong guy na to. Oo na, mayaman ka na, sige na. Okay na, sige na. Ikaw na. Na-unfollow ko na si Elon Musk kasi nakakainis yung mga, nakaka-epal yung mga, alam ko may mga nagsasabi din sa akin yan, ang yabang ko na Pero walang sense talaga to mayaman lang talaga to I mean, magaling siya engineer and all, I'll give it that to him, but wag na siya mag-feeling masyado. Okay, ulit? Saan na tayo? Ito, diba? Yung pinapakita ko sa inyo. Siyempre, tactical yung approach niya. Ang base niya, majority naman like President Duterte, base sa surveys, majority naman nakita natin sa Pew Survey, ito international surveys do, ay medyo dun sa, alam mo na, medyo hindi gano'n ka 100% into democracy. Ito yung yellow na pinakita ko sa inyo, di ba? So, yun yung attack kay Isko. And of course, mukhang Isko talaga was expecting na mahakot niya yung blue, yung maliit na blue dito sa kabila. Tapos, mahakot niya yung itong blue dito. Ito yung mga supporters ni Leni na pinaka-hardcore supporters. And then some pink here, and then some people are like undecided, unsure about other candidates, especially kay Bongbong Marcos at yung mga gusto kay Sara pero hindi na tumakbo si Sara, so pwede niya i-pick up yan. So that was the strategy of Isko. I understand it. That's his approach. Now, obviously communication discipline was a big problem, is still a big problem. It was a huge problem. It was a disaster the other week. Okay, given that. But I can see where the strategy was coming from. Now, why am I stating this? Because just as some of the folks on Twitter were attacking Isko, crazy. They were attacking him right and left. Isko, withdraw, yung mga ganun. Parang, wow, wala pang nangyari, withdraw na agad. You don't do these things on Twitter, okay? You don't call on people to withdraw from the race on Twitter, no? These things are done by adults in a subtle way, in a proper negotiation situation, right? Nag-backfire tuloy. So, mukhang napikon talaga si Isko dyan. Now, again, I know both sides have their own version of this. I've heard both sides. Okay, yeah, yes. I'll be honest, I'm listening to both sides. Okay, gets ko yan. Okay, gets ko yan. But, this is it kasi. Tignan mo naman yung slate ni Leni. Okay, so andyan naman, of course, yung mga progressives. Riza Hontiveros, Chel Jokno. Dun sa ibang nakita ko, sinama pa si Nery Colmenares, di ba? I don't know kung ito yung official pa. Pero andyan rin naman, di ba? Yung mga ibang traditional politicians or people who are not necessarily in the opposition or not as critical as President Duterte on his most controversial policies. Dick Gordon, Zubiri, I mean, the list goes on. Andiyan pa yata si Jejo Marbinay, di ba? So, what is it? Is this real politics or is this conviction politics? Because you cannot have it both ways, right? Yes, you can have a compromise, you can have a kind of a synthesis, but just as you call out Isko as being supposedly trapo and supposedly being a Duterte light, etc. And then in your Senate slate, meron kang tao na, oh, and then ano nangyari? Ano nangyari? Wala pang few months, yung iba nagdi-defect na, openly endorsing the other side without announcing their defection formally or formalizing the process. Ayan tayo eh. Ayan tayo. So, yan ang problema. If you want to play the righteous game, right, make sure you're consistent. Or, make sure it's subtle enough para hindi ka magkakaroon ng ganyan ng sitwasyon. At naintindihan ko rin yung position ni Ma'am Leni na parang wala na siyang time sa mga drama at katrapuhan and all of that, mga butterfly effect. I-focus yung elections. So this is obviously not on her. This is on her strategic communications team, strategy team, whatever. Okay? Diyan talaga yan eh. So I don't know what on earth were these people thinking about, or yung mga hardcore supporters na binabash at binubuli si Isko na pinapa-withdraw. Kung yung Senate slate mo ay may ganitong mga tao, di ba? Now, I'm not passing judgment on them. I'm just saying they're not real opposition. Simple as that. And I'm not totally surprised they're endorsing Marcos now. Okay? Nasaan sila yung mga EJK and all? Nasaan sila nung inaatake si Senator De Lima? Nasaan sila nung West Philippines niya kung ano-anong sinasabi ni Pangulong Duterte na nagkakalat-kalat na naman siya? Diba? Ayan. Pero in fairness naman kay Tatay Digong, he works very hard. Buhat niya yung buong problema ng bansa. Nakita niyo ba yung painting na yan? Ayaw nga, pinost ko na yan. O, wag na. Move on na tayo. Baka mamaya sabihin na naman nila mean tayo. O, mabait na ako ha. Siyempre, mga senior people, respetuhin na natin. Okay. Ayan. Pasok na yan, Andre. Okay. Alright. So, the other day, may interview si Christian Esguerra, yung ating kaibigan dyan. Is Christian still with ABS-CBN or not? I don't. Basta alam ko yung isang program niya na off na, wala na siya sa ABS-CBN, ANC, whatever. Parang he's going on his own, but he's still inviting people on. At isa sa mga mukhang favorite guests niya dyan, I see Mr. Banayo, yung campaign manager ni Isko. This is the first time I see a campaign manager giving this many interviews. Parang political analyst na talagang trabaho dito. Doesn't seem to be a very, very successful campaign so far based on the numbers we're seeing. And I'll tell you, my goodness, given the potential of Isko, should have done 10 times better. Okay. But, we can debate about this later on. Okay. Okay, ito kasi. So, ito yung sinabi ni Mr. Banayo. Kay Christian Esguerra. Wait lang kung ano nakikita ko sa Instagram na distract tayo dyan. Ayan na. Ayan na. Nasaan ka na? Ayan. Meron siyang sinabi. Ito. Parang until hell freezes or something like that, hindi kami magsusupport kay Leni or something along those lines. I'm trying to get the exact quote. Sorry, para I don't misquote anyone. We want to be fair. Christian Esguerra. Okay, ito. So Christian pala, mukhang wala na siya sa ANC, no? So mukhang DZMM siya, pero hindi na yata siya sa ANC. Okay. So ito yung sinabi ni, ito.
Are seeing the writing on the sinasabi ng iba, yung ibang mga kandidato, they are seeing the writing on the wall already, pero ayaw lang tanggapin. So sa inyo, anong sagot nyo sa mga ganyan?
We do not see the handwriting on the wall. And if some quarters are thinking na magsama-sama at this magsama-sama to support one candidate or whoever, too late in the day for that. Number 2, wala kaming tiwala dun sa number 2 na sinasabi nyo number 2. Till hell freezes over, we will never go for her.
Medyo mabigat yung sinabi nyo. Bakit naman?
Grabe, di ba? Grabe.
Sabi
Medyo
ko, no holding back. No holding back. Yan.
Pero let's expound on that. Sige. Bakit parang may matinding galit? Saan nanggagaling yung ganung opinion?
Hindi kasi napakasama naman ng mga ginagawa ng kanyang followers eh. At kung ang mag-rationalize sila o dissemble sila by saying na hindi naman siya mismo nagsasabi, anong classical leader kung hindi mo mapagsabihan yung mga followers na tumigil ng paninira, mag-invento ng mga hindi totoo, No, samantalang kami, even in the rallies media, I mean, traditional media and even vloggers who have been following our campaign trail will attest to the fact that Isko Moreno always says, huwag kayong makikipag-away, huwag kayong maninira, kung ano lang yung totoong damdamin nyo, yun lang sasabihin nyo dahil walang mangyayari sa inyo sa pakikipag-away o pambabash.
Okay. Alright. Ayoko na pumasok dito. I don't want to get in the middle of this fight. Alam ko, baka magalit yung both sides sa atin. Like I care, but I don't think this is the right time for that. Wala akong pake. Sige, fine. We can go on fighting. I've been trolled by all sides. Okay, no problem. As I said, mukhang, yeah, may mga some Isko supporters have been like saying ek, but most of the Isko supporters have been very kind. Yes, most of mga Pink supporters have also been kind. Yes, some have been kind. Ayan, okay. So anyways, this is not about me, but yes, in fairness naman, napansin ko naman dun sa mga Isko supporters and all, there's no parang bitter attack and all on Leni or other candidates throughout the race. And in fact, some of them have been going after Marcos over the tax liability issues among others. So I don't know. I mean, eto lang. Ayan, moment of silence tayo kasi malalim itong problema natin. Whether Leni wins or loses, if ganun ka bitter yung relationship with the other sides, na hindi Bongbong Marcos, na hindi Duterte, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard whether as a governing administration, whether as an opposition leader, as an opposition movement. And ito yung problema ko sa short-sighted thinking ng mga ibang hardcore supporters dyan, na they give a bad name to everyone. They absolutely have no sense of long-term political strategic thinking. Mga mayabang na pa-woke pa yung iba dyan. At this is even worse. This is even worse than what happened in 2016 when yung Poe supporters and Mar supporters bitterly were divided and absolutely couldn't put a common front once President Duterte was dictating the terms. Some would say even outside the bounds of the Constitution, forget about norms. So, you have to think about the day after. So yes, there's a party mode there, feeling malakas yung iba dyan and all. But, there's the shadow of the future. So in game theory, one of the things you're taught is iteration. Makinig kayo mga classroom. Iteration. You see, a political game is not a one-off event. It's an iterated event. Yung mga kaaway mo ngayon, tomorrow, you may need them as allies. Or yung mga kaibigan mo ngayon, pwede mo maging kalaban bukas. So politics is a game of iterations. Therefore, you cannot just exclusively think in purist ways na self-righteous, nor can you think in purely short-term ways that undermine long-term interests, no? So, this is what really disappoints me. Oh, yan, sorry, I'll call it, yes, some Dilawan people there, right? They're so excited about projecting moral ascendancy and all, that they're willing to burn all the bridges and also undermine any possibility of a coherent movement, whether as administration or opposition, as far as Leni Robredo is concerned. And as far as duly elected Vice President Leni Robredo is concerned, of course, marami siyang problema, marami siyang sakit na ulo. I mean, so maybe this is up to her team, among others, to remind yung ibang followers na umayos kayo. Umayos kayo because you're giving a bad name to the entire movement. Because I know a lot of ka-pink dyan, mga pink supporters dyan ni Leni, no? Na not necessarily as, self-righteous, not necessarily as aggressive against Isko and other candidates. In fact, I know some who are even realistic that maybe Isko doing well in this race is also good for everyone. Whether as number 3, number 2, whatever. Or even as number 1, they would say. Right? So, ito talagang problema natin. Kaya nga sinabi ko dun sa isang interview ko sa CNN Philippines, where are the adults? Kasi parang na to eh. Parang trash talk na ito. Parang kami lang dati wala, nabulol na. Nag-games lang kami dyan, tapos kung may natalo, bitter, tapos yung nanalo, ang yabang-yabang, daming bragging rights, ayan, nagpipikunan. Tapos yan, pagdating ng family reunion, ayaw na mag-usap, ayan. And and that's also one reason why is that siguro sana meron tayong runoff elections. Hindi ko alam sino mga genius na craft ng constitution natin. But one of the things that I was always thinking about is sana meron tayong runoff election because runoff elections force coalition building, force a culture of reaching out. I remember classroom, di ba yung pinag-usapan natin na Venn diagram, yung mga overlapping. So if the same thing applies to policy making, the same thing also applies to movement. When you want to create a movement, when you want to win power, you have to look at coalitions. And when you look at building coalitions, an umbrella coalition, dapat titignan mo yung areas ng overlap. No? I'm sure there are areas na may overlap ng policy proposals ni Isko at Leni na wala with BBM at wala with BBM and Leni. Right? For instance, on the issue of real estate tax payments and all. On the issue of West Philippines and taking it tough with China, even taking it to UN and all. Isko has far more in overlap with Leni policy-wise than BBM. But anyways, this is not, I'm not here to prosecute the case for a specific campaign. I am here to prosecute the case against mga paepal, mga payabang, mga pawok, mga who contribute to toxicity and bitterness in the environment. And this does not, by the way, excuse the toxicity coming from the candidates and mga kalat-kalat na mga press conference and the aftermath of that too. Alright? We are not excusing anyone here. What I'm saying here is the situation is problematic. We are in a very polarized situation. Huwag kayo magmaganda dyan. Huwag kayo mag-contribute sa toxicity because this will come and bite you later on after the elections. Whether panalo ka or hindi. So let me be very clear again. This is not to justify yung blunder na nangyari sa press conference. This is also this is also not to take the side of any of the teams here. What I'm saying is look at the big picture. Eye on the ball. Look at the big picture. Think about the day after tomorrow. Think about the shadow of the future. Think about political iteration. Yun po ang dapat ang titignan natin yun eh. So in an iterative situation, what you do in your previous games will come and bite you later on. And if you have planted the good seeds, you're gonna sow the benefits also later on. And this is where I feel that there are some people who are absolutely not learning anything from what happened in the 2016 elections, right? Again, I have to be clear. I'm not justifying some of the blunders and aggressive language from some of the candidates here. You already watching sinabi ko. What I'm saying is, dun sa ibang followers na passionate, etc., huwag kayong magmaganda masyado, alright? You're just making the situation more complicated. And then, going back to what I'm saying is, kaya nga sana meron tayong culture ng meron tayong runoff elections, kasi nga, that will induce and force people to have a coalition building culture. Kasi di ba sa runoff ang mangyayari ganito, kung walang nag 50% plus 1 sa first round, yung top 2 will go to the second round. Di ba katulad nangyari sa France. And let me show you some numbers because this is quite interesting. So dun sa first round, nakita natin na no one got the majority. So ito, this is how the votes moved. So this is the first round. This is the first round in elections in France. No, so this is Macron in first round. This is Le Pen in France first round. This is Mélenchon, and then some of the other candidates, right? Zemmour and all of that, right? And Jadot and Pécresse. Okay. So what you see is in the second round, supporters here a lot move here. This one's completely move here and all. So that gave a chance to Macron to make it close to 60% versus 40% for Le Pen. So this is where, if you have more and more runoff elections, now I'm not saying this is exactly what happened in France because Macron has problematic relationship with Mélenchon, for instance, but perhaps not with Jadot and some of the more socialist or leftist groups, no? But you can see, diba? Because you know you have to win in the second round, you want to make sure this is the shadow future. This is an iterative game. First round, second round. So you want to make sure you get the support of some of these people here in the second round so that you can win. Kaya nga si Macron, no, after winning the first round, he was already sending feelers na he needs the support of these other people so that he can beat. No, and it was very important because he was able to get the vote from center right and center left. So you can see these two candidates, center left, and I would say significant number from Mélenchon, right? But Mélenchon is so far left, so a lot of him either of the two, no? But some, in fact, even went to Marie Le Pen. I think if Macron reached out more to the left, probably he would have picked up more from Melanchon. His numbers would have been even bigger here. Okay? Now, you get what I'm saying here. Now, obviously, this is just one case. We can talk about multiple cases. We can bring out the numbers in Chile. We can bring out the numbers in Chile nga, president nila, ka-Isko eh. Walang hiya. Ka-Isko na yung president na sa Chile. Woo! Yan talaga tayo. Yan tayo. Okay. Tapos yung sa Peru, di ba? Former teacher farmer ang naging president nila doon sa second round. Talo silang pareho sa first round, I think. Pero sa second round, natalo nila yung anak ni Fujimori, parang Marcos Jr. nila dyan, BBM version nila doon sa Peru, at saka doon naman sa Chile, tinalo nung ex-student activist naman, yung pro-Pinochet na parang pro-Marcos effect na Duterte style din. So, yun. So, that's what I'm saying, di ba? When you're doing politics, you have to always look at the shadow future. Now, obviously, we don't have runoff election, so yung thinking ng iba is, wala naman tayo na ito, wala pakialaman, ito na, let's give it all. Bardagulan na. Yan. Problema is, there is life after elections. There is political life after elections. And if you create a very bitter relationship with other sides, how are you going to build bridges? Or if you're going to burn all the bridges, how are you going to create opportunities for tactical, at least, cooperation down the road? Again, these are all, you see, kaya nga favorite politician ko of all time, si Bismarck, Otto von Bismarck ng Germany on classroom. Next time, pag-aralan natin, dalhin ko yung ano niya. Kasi yung tao na yan, okay, you wanna understand Otto von Bismarck, his modern version, more democratic,